but I might buy it if it's offering 3%. Depending on like whatever you're trying to do in a portfolio. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question again? Did that answer it?
Yeah. So yeah, it did. So they stop if they stop buying bonds.
Yeah, it'll go up.
Yeah.
It's supposed to anyways. That's like the thought.
Yeah. All right. Guess I'll wait for a couple more people to get in here.
Pat, I'm a little new to stocks. You mind helping me like figuring out a good way to figure out what my hedge should be?
Did you say hedge or your head?
Yeah, my hedge.
Your hedge. Well, I mean, you could always, you're kind of new, so I would say the best thing to do is probably I could send you a couple like inverse ETF stocks that kind of go opposite the market. Because, typically I would tell you to buy puts as a hedge, but you're saying that you're like pretty new to everything, so I wouldn't recommend getting into options yet until you like really, understand how that works and how stocks work. So probably things like what TQQ and what are some inverse? Hold on. I know. So like SQQ. See how this is always going down? This is a good hedge though, because when the market takes a hit and dies off, this'll go up.
Wait, Pat, are you streaming? Am I missing something?
Is it not playing?
Yeah, no, it is. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're good.
So then what's the difference between that and Shiba with like being a good hedge? Because earlier, you know how we were having that conversation and somebody was saying it's comparative to Doge? Like, what's the difference between that?
Oh, so you're talking crypto. A lot of people see crypto as a hedge, which doesn't really make any sense to me, just because like with crypto you're just adding a lot more risk because of the volatility, the fluctuations in price that happen. So I wouldn't really say it's a good hedge, because if you look at crypto in the last week, dude, it's getting crushed, right? So you can't really say that that's a good hedge. Unless you're shorting it, but I never really understood saying crypto is a hedge. It's just another investment that carries, a lot more risk than typical stocks for the most part.
So like the difference between crypto and like normal stocks is the volatility of crypto, whereas like stocks is like you're pretty able to read it.
You're able to read both of them for the most part, but yeah, crypto. I think the reason a lot of people like crypto, first of all, you have the ability to like pay with this money. I think people think it's cool that this new form of money is here. A lot of traders like it because they can use leverage to trade these big volatile moves. Like if you were to catch Bitcoin, like short Bitcoin up here around like 56K, dude, that's a huge profit right there for traders. So like a lot of people are flocking to this and trading it, but it's always
SDS.
SDS.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go to the daily. Oh my God, what is this? Oh, okay. Is it? Yeah. So this is one of those inverse ETFs I was talking about. This is something that's going to go opposite the market. This is going to go opposite the S&P 500. But dude, these things are so hard because you got to kind of catch them when they're going up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I don't think you should buy like an inverse ETF that's leveraged like this because it's gonna move 2x whatever the market does in the opposite direction, and these are like consistent money losers over time.
Yeah.
These are like very, very short-term trades that you should be making in inverse ETFs, especially leveraged ones. if you want like a real portfolio hedge, I don't know what you hold right now, but like speaking from a stock perspective, typically things like commodities, like gold and stuff like that, that can be a hedge. But if you're talking from crypto, like I don't think there's a real hedge against crypto. Like if you're trying to hedge crypto with crypto, I don't really think you can do that. But
So is something like this bad because of those spikes? Like, is that the problem? It's not very consistent.
no, the spikes are what you want to catch. Pat, go to like
Here.
a monthly chart or something.
Okay, yeah.
So you see how literally over time it's only going down? That's because the market over time is only going up. But in the off chance where the market's going to fall and you catch that huge spike that you see, that's when you want to buy something like this. The whole rest of the time, this thing's literally just going to keep going down because the market's going to keep going up.
So
Yep.
then, this is what I realized, like when I first started, there's a lot of stocks that have like that huge spike at the beginning and then it's just a downfall. So like, how can you tell which one is going to have that and what's not?
That's the trick.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. It's not as easy to tell which one's going to be the one. You kind of just have to do your research and understand what you're buying and what you're holding, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, then on to the next. But that's the hardest part, figuring out if I could give you a definite answer on that, then everybody would be a millionaire in the market. But it's a lot harder to time that and pick sure winners.
Yeah, I would recommend sitting down and like genuinely thinking about a plan. Like if you're going to be trading shares, it's like, okay, I'm going to define my support and resistance levels. I see a stock that's just gotten a support. I think I want to buy this. What do I expect out of it? Like, okay, I'm going to buy it. I want a 5 to 10% gain out of this. And then you pick your stop loss and you set your stop loss and just stick to that.
Yeah.
Those rules in the trading plan are more important than any stock you pick ever. Like just having defined rules to where you don't get emotional and like overtrade and stuff. That's super important.
Yeah, dude, because sometimes it doesn't even matter like what you're really buying. If you're just looking at the chart and you can tell like you think what's going to happen and you hit that target, then it really doesn't matter what you're buying as a trader, from a trader's perspective, because traders are playing both ways. They don't really care which way the market goes, because they can either short it or they can go long. So either way, they have ways to make money off of it.
So not even trying to be sarcastic, but basically what I'm hearing is like there are certain patterns that you can watch, but at the end of the day, stocks is kind of just like if you hit, and you kind of hope that it's going to be a big hit.
Well, you can make like educated guesses, but at the end of the day, like anything can happen overnight. Like there could be a press release where there's bad news on the stock, and the next day the stock is down, 20%, and it's just like shit like that happens, and it makes it hard. It makes it very difficult.
Right, but that's why you want defined rules, because it's like you said, if a stock dumps 20%, but you had a stop loss in at minus 10%, then you were already out and you hit your stop loss and you're good to go. But like you see this Apple chart right here, the resistance level right there. Oh, I thought that was a resistance. Sorry, that's your little cursor. But anyways, Apple should probably bounce right here. But, we've had this huge tech sell-off in the past week. It kind of could go either way, right? Like there's no 100% winning strategy all the time. Like it's guaranteed you're going to take some losses, but it's about minimizing losses. That's the whole goal.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if you
So
can,
then like you were saying with the whole like tech selling, like you can tell it's going to be on the rise because of this event happening or that event happening.
Yeah, like right now, I was actually just explaining this to $1 Million Baby. Interest rates are rising, right? A lot of people watch the U.S. 10-year interest rate, and they've been artificially low for a long time. But since it's been rising like this, growth companies, specifically, like you're talking about Amazon, Apple, like these huge mega cap names and stuff, they rely on debt to finance it, right? So as long as this interest rate's going up, their earnings are going to get sucked out. And so their valuation's too high based on that. Growth companies and interest rates kind of have like an inverse relationship. I know that might have been a lot if you're new to this, but
So like the sum of that is basically interest rates go up, big cap companies go down.
Essentially, yeah. It may not happen every time, 100% of the time, but I mean, it has the past year or two. You know, it's supposed to work that way.
That little drop, I'm assuming it went up, and then as it's rising, it's starting to go down.
As this is rising, like the growth companies are going down, you mean?
Yeah.
So, like right now, with interest rates going up, your people will rotate into things that benefit from higher interest rates, like banks and stuff. So, if you go look at a bank stock, you'll notice that those have been rising. Yep. You see how it jumped up a lot? That's because interest rates benefit banks.
Right, because they can charge more money, basically.
Oh, so like a good way to get into a stock would say, let's say I'm watching the interest rates, I see it go down. Obviously, the banks are going to go down. I should invest then because interest rates are going to consistently fluctuate, and then sell when it rises.
Well,
you kind of need like your technical strategy to base it off of from there. Like, yeah, you know the relationship between interest rates and stocks, but you know you see his support and resistance levels there and stuff. Like that's what you got to be looking at to base your trade off of.
Yeah. So you see this white line right here? Ooh.
That's the resistance level?
This is the resist. Well, if we're where we're currently at, this would now be support. But you see how here there's some resistance right here. It got close to it and then sold off pretty hard, right? And then it starts going back up, kind of tries to break that, comes back down, but now starts to trend, and you see that resistance is broken, and it's probably going to start heading up towards the next resistance, which it does. Hits this resistance, sells off some, comes back, goes try it again. So you just kind of use these points as, either entries or exits, just kind of to help give you a guide on, where you should be looking to either get in or get out of certain trades.
What's that blue stuff on the far right?
This is volume profile, just telling me where people are buying and what the volume looks like in each range. That's the indicator for the charts.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to use that, but like high volume areas, you'll notice that price sticks to it more. Like you see way on the bottom where the blue lines are like really high. Price stayed there for like a really long time because there's a lot of trading going back and forth right there. But the areas where the volume is lower on the side, price kind of flies through those like very quickly.
Yeah, like right here. You see here how it's kind of large right here, and then this little area is like not much. You see how it right here, it kind of jumps pretty quick.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you're good. But yeah, that basically how that's used for the most part. These can be used as points of support or resistance and whatnot.
So what is the blue and yellow line? Like, what's their comparison?
These are moving averages. So
everybody picks their own type of moving averages. I'm sorry, Pat, you go.
Yeah, there's a couple different. You can do simple, exponential. What else is there?
They have a whole moving average, but most people use the exponentials, and depends on what you're looking for, right? Like if you're looking for like 50 and 200 moving average crosses, like those take a while to happen. They don't happen all the time. And so a lot of people use like a 21 moving average or like a 9 and a 21 moving average, and those will get you some like shorter term trades.
Yeah.
But you have to be mindful about like what trade you're getting into, right? Like if I'm looking at a 1 hour chart and the 9 and 21 moving average cross on a 1 hour chart, I'm not going to be in that trade for very long. Like I can take it if it looks like a good setup, but I need to have a good exit point. I'm not going to stay in something like that for weeks or months at a time unless like the higher time frames look good.
Yeah.
So
basically what it is just an average price for a specific time period.
Right.
Oh, so regardless of the fluctuation and like the defluctuation, that's going to be the average for that time?
Yes, basically for the time frame that you're in. So you can kind of use this. You can kind of use these. This is the 50-day moving average. So it takes all the points for the last 50 days and puts it into an average. So typically these can be used as support and resistance. You know, if you look right here, it bounced a bunch of times off this spot, and you could tell every time it was going to bounce off there, you kind of knew that, okay, this is a good spot for some support, right? So that's kind of how I use it. A lot of times it's been working out a lot for SPY, except for when we get these like pretty larger corrections. It kind of dips below. But yeah, I think we might actually pull pretty hard up here. If this, see how it kind of, I'm not sure if you know how to even read candlesticks yet, but basically this one right here on, what was that, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. It started around this area, and it went and hit this moving average and immediately bounced back up and went back up, right? So a lot of times this can be used as support and resistance. And when you're charting, you know, support and resistance is pretty much the key.
So, like, what's like some stocks that you would recommend getting into?
As like, what's your time horizon that you're looking for?
I mean, I'm down for a long-term investment. Somebody just told me look out for HMBL, and they said they've been holding on to it since TSMP. I don't know what that is, but
Humble?
I guess.
Yeah, I don't buy penny stocks to go long on, just because, you know, someone told me wise words a couple years ago. Penny stocks are penny stocks for a reason, right? They're not really like, they're still trying to like establish themselves. They're still trying to get that, you know, credit out. But like, I just don't like investing in, because a lot of times they'll look like this for, you know, just flat and like not move at all, or even downtrend for like years. And basically when people are trading these penny stocks, it's just, they're just looking to get this, you know, this spike right here where it goes from 0.7 to 1.7, right? They're really just looking for that. But I wouldn't typically buy penny stocks to go long term on. Honestly, what we were talking about earlier with the interest rates, the banks are going to be a good spot this year. I mean, they're already performing pretty well, but, you know, as we were saying, with higher interest rates, banks will tend to do better. I also just bought Ford, actually. I kind of like them. I may have bought it pretty high, but, you know, I'm fine with holding it for a little while. Kind of like what they're starting to do with their EVs and whatnot.
So, like, let's say I just saw something the other day about Tesla coming out with the phone, right? So let's say you get Tesla and you hold it because you think that the price is going to rise when the phone comes out. Would that be like a smart long-term investment?
It would. But there's, you know, that's, you don't want to you know, leave it up to one reason why you want to have multiple points to back that up. You know, because you could say, like, regardless of the stock it is, you know, if there's this other unknown stock, it's like, hey, they're coming out with a phone soon. You know, I think I'm going to buy it long because that's, you know, the phones are good. Everyone's always going to need phones. But at the same time, that's only a fraction of the story, you know, because each company is its own story, basically. And you got to get the whole story before you can, you know, really buy or sell something, which is known as its due diligence. You always got to do your research, kind of look what's going on with the stock and the news and whatnot, and, you know, see what kind of catalysts they have coming up, because you want to make sure that, you know, it's a good company, and which Tesla is. Tesla is a good company.
I just started talking to Greenwood from Dope Goods. And I can't tell you, but he let me know who the next artist is. So, like, now,
I already know.
Lie. Oh, you do? Okay, so that's fucking crazy.
I know, right?
I definitely want to put dumb money into that because I know that's going to be a huge return on investment.
Yeah, bro.
Like, so like knowing something like that about a stock, you're gonna be like, okay, I know that this influencer is really big in this area. I know that they're gonna back it. Like what I was saying about Shiba. Like if ETH really did back up Shiba, I feel like that would be the push that they needed.
Yeah, but see, the thing about Shiba is I'm pretty sure we talked about it. There's so much supply that it doesn't really like matter who. It needs so much money to pump that thing.
What's a buyback? Like how would they do that? The company itself would just buy all the stocks from people?
Yeah, well, so there's always shares that are outstanding that are tradable. So like that's known as the float. So like if a stock, maybe people hold 50% of the stock that has 1 million total shares. That means that there's 500,000 shares still there to be bought that are constantly being traded throughout the day. Obviously they'll fluctuate as people trade it and whatnot, but yeah, there's typically
So like
always
something with this right here, like what is causing it? Because there's so many of them, like how much would have to be moved in order to cause it to fluctuate that much?
I don't know that for certain, but it would have to be a lot. I don't know the outstanding shares, but it would have to be a lot.
Yeah, that's part of why like Bitcoin runs so hard is because there's a limited supply, so it's easy to make the price move up.
Exactly.
But SHIB doesn't have that, so it's kind of tough to. I mean, you obviously see there was a point where it ran, but yeah, it's pretty hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like for $20 to be able to get 600,000 shares, like that's fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll probably never reach anything, good enough to actually make good money on that.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. Like, if you think about penny stocks, like, you could buy a shit ton of shares of penny stocks too, but you saw that chart, right? Like, it was just going down, staying flat. Like, you can maybe make a better trade buying 2 shares of a large cap company than buying 1 million shares of SHIB,
But this is what confuses me, because when that GameStop thing happened, it was, I mean, not a penny stock, but it was super small.
It was pretty much, around there.
Who came back together, it like caused it to rise.
Yeah, that's not a typical circumstance.
Yeah, that's kind of a anomaly. That doesn't really happen a lot. I mean, squeezes do happen, but for it to happen on the scale that it happened with like the amount of people that were behind it, that doesn't happen like that. That's why people are still talking about GameStop and whatnot.
So then, wouldn't it just, like, if I was a celebrity, right, with 1 million followers, wouldn't it just behoove me to just get all my followers to buy penny stocks, rise the price, and then sell my shit?
People do that.
Yeah, people do that, but it's also, I'm not sure if it's illegal, but it's definitely.
No, it's definitely illegal to like some extent.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of people do that on Twitter, like people. I know Zach Morris. He's one of the top pumpers. He's got like 500K followers, and like I've watched some of the stocks. Like he'll say, okay, I'm buying this stock. I think it goes to $10, and you'll see like as soon as he tweets about it, you'll see like a huge influx in buyers. You'll see the price jump, and at that point, like he has already bought his shares. So like he's basically buying these shares first and then telling his followers about it, where they then all jump onto it and basically give him an opportunity to sell his shares out at a higher price as they continue to chase it.
But he is influencing them and at the same time increasing everybody's profit.
Well, see, trading is a zero-sum game. With winners, there's always going to be a loser. So when he buys those shares and he tweets it out, someone is eventually going to buy the top of that stock, right? It may benefit a couple people, but people are going to get left, holding the bag or buying the top, and some people will win, but some will definitely lose. Majority of them will lose.
I saw this thing the other day, and I was like genuinely thinking about it. It was like this company that basically said, well, it was this dude, or I see ads about it on Facebook Marketplace where you just pay like already established stock investors to just see what they buy and then buy it, and then you feel me, like copy their trades. Would that be
Yeah.
like a smart thing to do?
I mean, yeah, people get. That's what analysts typically do for their investors. They, you know, they manage their portfolio and do all the research for them. I mean, if you got the money to do that, then by all means do what you want. You can go to like a hedge fund or something and be like, "Hey, I want 30-40%." And they'll do what they can to try and get you that percent.
I know this is off topic, but I'm like, it's about the dope goats.
Uh-huh.
Since isn't that like, I'm not gonna lie, that's like the best person you could probably get to back that.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy.
That's gonna
He's
be
a big
so
name,
much
dude.
fucking funny.
Yeah, for real.
Do you know when he's gonna post about it? I think they said it's gonna be in a few days, right?
Yeah, he told me like maybe I want to say like 2 or 3 days ago. He said he was gonna be posting sometime this week, so we'll see, bro.
Who did? Him himself?
No.
Oh, okay. I just talked
yeah.
to Sipsy, and he was like, he said he's in New York with him right now. I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
Damn. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild for sure.
I think what I'm gonna try and do is just get the 2 free ones from the giveaway, and then probably buy like 2 myself,
Yeah.
and just hold for as long as possible. Because I'm just knowing that as soon as he does that, release date, everybody's gonna get on it. It's only 2,000, and then if you hold for like a week, at that point there's gonna have been so many sales. Like it's just gonna rise past.
Bro,
2
yeah. Facts, bro, facts. So I'm excited.
What do you think like the floor price is gonna be for that after like a week after release?
Well, that kind of depends on everyone else. Like, if everyone else decides to not sell theirs for anything less than 1 Ethereum, then that'll be the floor. But I mean, I think
like,
they're
the problem
trying.
with that is the people that buy a lot and then are just like, I'll settle for 0.8 ETH, like, and then
Yeah.
there's the people like me and Quinn who are like, yeah, we're not selling for anything less than 2.
Yeah. So I mean, you'll have people that it'll probably average out to bring it around that 1 or 2 area. But yeah, I'm trying to get some pretty rare ones for sure.
I definitely want the one that I took from Quinn today, the one with the blunt. That shit is
Oh yeah,
so hard.
yeah.
Do you think that I guess since you study stocks so much, like, is there a way to tell that an NFT is gonna rise or do good? Like, do you think that, like with Bored Apes, like nobody saw that happening where everything's going for 600 million a piece?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's possible. I just feel like it's kind of different. But I mean, I guess if you could look at the price history and see where people are, it could essentially be seen as like trading a stock, because people trade NFTs all day long. So I mean, I guess if you had a price graph, you could probably chart it up and figure out which one's gonna move based on different things. But I'm not for certain. I'm about to start getting into some of these charts people sent me though, just so I can bang those out real quick. I put this on there because I saw Eb talking about it, I think.
No, that was Richard Welty.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, this looks pretty good, actually. I kind of like this.
I just don't know what it's gonna do.
I know. It's kind of in like that like iffy spot where it could either break down or, I could see this playing out, pull back down to this 50 EMA before it starts to trend back up. I would love to see a nice little ascending triangle on that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's my favorite pattern to play, is that ascending triangle. 100%. I love that.
There's a lot of them around too. You see that often.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what the hourly looks like. Ooh, there's not even enough. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, you can tell it's kind of squeezing a bit because the MACD on daily and hourly are both just tighter, I guess.
Yeah.
So once it goes past that resistance line, then what happens?
Typically,
Depends.
yeah, it really depends. But typically, this is a bullish pattern. So you can expect for it to go up after breaking out of this resistance, but to the point earlier, at the end of the day, you never really know. Anything could happen. It could break out and then completely just people taking profit up here and then just completely shit the bed and come all the way back down. It's really, you kind of have to play it by ear. But most of the time, people are looking for that breakout play where they're taking from 242 to 245, and they're out. They're taking their profit, right? Because they know, that's just kind of who they are as a trader, and they have their set rules. Okay, I hit 5%, whatnot, blah blah blah, taking profit, right? So it all.
So when you, my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
No,
like
go
when you start making profit to the point where you're like, okay, I can get 10 shares of stock at 200. That's 10 shares, 2 pounds. And when you're at that point where it's that much money, a 10% profit is still $200. So like you said, where it's those people where the rule is 5% profit. Okay, I'm out. Wait for the next time where it drops, and then you cop again and hope for the same 5%.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. You can do that for sure. A lot of traders will, a lot of times, because once a move is made, you kind of have to wait for another trend to form so you can draw like this up again and go from there. But yeah, I mean, you definitely could. But at the same time, it also depends on what the size of your account is, because obviously you're not going to be putting your whole account into one play.
Yeah, and like this one, for instance, like the bottom of that triangle, the trend line actually goes back like way further. So, or kind of, it's not perfect, but I mean, you can see it's been trending on that. So, people will watch that and like buy at the bottom of the trend line. It's rejected that top area once or twice, so they double topped it. You got to watch for things like that because you want to see what other traders see and try to make the same decision as them and like do it, together basically.
Here, so look, this is kind of what I was talking about. This is an ascending triangle right here, right? And you see kind of how it breaks out here, and you can see a lot of profit taken up here. And then this is from this area, you kind of have to look at the smaller time frames to figure out what's going to happen. But this is where you would wait and come back to it because you see it starts to form another pattern.
So like that really big triangle is the same pattern as the small one. It's just a smaller time frame.
This is all a weekly time frame. So each one of these candles is 1 week.
So then how do you figure out reading those candles, like the ones at the very beginning of the bottom triangle, like they're so small, and then you see like the two big candles of profit, then the small one where it goes down, goes up. Like, how can you tell the difference?
I'm not really sure how to answer that question, to be honest. Can you say it again?
So like you were asking how, like, do I know how to read candles? And I definitely don't, but like I can see from what you're explaining, like obviously blue is profit and red is loss. So like how can you read the difference between like the big candles and like the really thin ones with the long lines? Like what's the difference between those two?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So like this one with the big long thing right here.
Yeah, because you see those four profit ones. You see how there's a two in the middle, where it's just really long lines. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, so these lines are like points that it falls to throughout the day. So here, let me go to a smaller time frame, maybe. Let me use one with more volume. All right, so We'll go to the daily. We'll look for one with one of those wicks, right? Okay, so yeah, right here, this one right here. What day is that? December 20th. So I'm going to go to the 5-minute, go back to December 20th. Oh, shit. Come on. Okay. So, yeah, basically, you'll see that there's this big gap right here, and it went down during the day, but it closed the day going up, right? So that's just kind of, this is kind of telling you what it did throughout that day. As it, this is that gap on that chart that I just showed you, right? And then you saw it go down before it came up and closed up here. So this is just,
so it still ended going up, which is why it's blue, but the wick itself is showing where it went.
right, exactly. Kind of giving you, like this one closed the day flat, right? But it kind of fluctuated quite a bit, you know? It went down, but the only thing that really matters is where it closed on that day. The wick,
So a lot of the red ones, like that really thick red one right next to where you're looking at,
yeah.
is that like it stayed around that area for a more consistent time?
So no, it's just opening and closing, showing you where it's. So when it's red, it opened up here at the top and it closed down here. So on this one, it opened right here, but it fluctuated down, but it's still closed around this area. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get you.
So reading candlesticks is basically just telling you where the stock moved throughout the day, where it opened, where it closed, you know, the highs and the lows. Like this right here, this is a high of the day, the 470. That was one of the high points of the day, and the 465 was one of the low points of the day. But it closed.
Like those 5 days where it's a bunch of really small ones, you can tell when that really small red one, it went down, there's a gap right there. Then that little blue one, it increased. It fluctuated from that point to that point, blah, blah.
Exactly.
All right, let's keep flipping through the list. That way, like, maybe you can just see how we look at it.
This. Okay, so yeah, like another thing to the same point, right? This is the resistance, right? It broke resistance, but it came immediately back down. This is one of the things I was talking about, because a lot of times you'll see what's known as breakout traders. They'll trade this breakout and then take profit when they see fit. Up here was a clear resistance up here. You could tell that selling was going to come hit. But yeah, like this one. So it opened the day at 1075, right? Went all the way down to 1022, but closed the day at 1062. You know?
Yeah.
So it still followed the path of the resistance, which is what everybody expected. But when it broke resistance, everybody took advantage and made profit.
Right. People are buying. Well, basically, yeah. Go ahead.
That's only like part of the story, right? Because like you can see in the triangle that it's kind of making there, or that like trend line going down. Like people bought at that like 1150, 1200 level, so you have a bunch of trapped longs in there right now, right? Or potentially ways. And they're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put a sell order in at 1150, 1200 where I bought it at to try to get my money back, you know. And so like maybe up there they had a bunch of orders waiting, and like as soon as it hit that price level, they all got triggered and it sold off. You know, like things like that can go on too. You don't 100% know what's going on there, but you can expect some resistance based on just the amount of selling that came previously.
Yeah.
Is that what caused it to drop down so quickly, or is that because the path of resistance was that and it had to follow that anyways?
It doesn't have to do anything. It could have been either or. I mean, there's any number of reasons why a stock makes a move, but it doesn't have to do anything at all.
Yeah, it could stay completely flat.
This seems like way too much fucking math. I'd be high too much.
It is. It can be. It can be. A lot of the times, the charts though, it's not a lot of math. You just kind of, look. Basically, support, resistance, trends. That's pretty much all it is drawing, the different areas that it trades through. But I'm gonna move on to the next one. Yeah, BAC. This looks good.
Yeah, I like it.
this.
I don't know if I would enter right now or anything. I'd probably wait till the end of the week since they have big bank earnings on
Yeah.
Friday. I took a trade on Citigroup, but I was at the bottom of this huge run up, so I caught a nice trade
Oh,
on that
nice.
one. But
Yeah, that's
yeah, man,
solid.
So this
I'd be
huge
scared.
fluctuation was because of interest, right?
The jump,
The
huge
jump.
run up.
Yeah, right here. Because if you go and then look at the interest rates, you'll see the same move happening, right? Which shows you that in a higher interest rate environment, banks will do better. Even if you don't know why, that's just an example of how that holds true.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, no, I probably wouldn't enter this either. That's pretty far from the 50 EMA. This one's
This is
nice, dude.
another-
I like this
I know
one.
it is. I think this is another interest rate play. I mean, it's insurance, but I mean, it's still a financial company. So
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if you saw the guy earlier. He said insurance companies do well in higher rate environments too.
okay, that's something I was unsure of, but I did notice that a lot of them have been running.
Yeah. So this is what I mean by resistance. You know, you see it hit this level a bunch of times and then would just immediately sell off right from there. And then when you finally see that breakout, you see a large push because there's been so much resistance here. And when
So
it
is
finally
resistance
breaks,
watching the pattern and seeing that people are making this level of profit, then it drops down, then it goes back up to this point, then it drops down, and it's not breaking past that point?
yeah. So what that tells you is that people aren't willing to buy it past this point, right? This is typically where people have been taking profit at and selling.
And the other thing is you can see the breakout and the retest. Like as soon as people saw it break out and they got that retest of the resistance, which became support, that was the buy signal because you had the technical in line and you had interest rates going up. So you knew it should make a move up. It was going to be an in favor stock based on the economic condition
Right.
and the technicals.
But you'll learn, man. Like now that you're kind of like we're kind of like giving you some basics, you'll kind of start to look at things and be like, okay, it's hit this price like 4 or 5 times. I'm gonna watch it at that price because I think that at that price I could either short it or whatnot and probably most likely profit off of it. So that's kind of what we do. We use those as just kind of like hints as to where we may get in or get out. So let me move on to AMD's next one. Yeah, so we got a nice little double bottom forming here.
I really wanted to see this hit 127 or 129, but I mean it's pretty much there. It's at 130. So
it could, dude. It very well could.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Someone told me they could see it hitting sub 100. I'm like, yo, I don't know if I see that happening anytime soon.
It would take a mega correction, but
yeah, that's what I said. And like, dude, this 106 area, this is a huge volume node.
yeah, hey,
It's
you know
not
what?
getting
The
past
MACD
that.
histogram, there's some divergence there too. So the histogram's not as it's not as far down as it was in the previous sell-off, and prices at the same level.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Yeah,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
so the selling pressure is not as bad this time, but it's at the same price, so that could be an indication of a bounce.
Right. So,
So this is definitely one to get on because it's clearly going to rise.
One to watch.
I would say this one's. I mean, this one moves a lot more than the market. So, like, if the market's down, 5%, this will most likely be down like 10%, just because it has a really high beta, which is basically the measure how much it moves, in respect to the overall market. So this usually moves a lot more than the market, but from where it's currently at, it's at some support right here. So if you were to buy here, you would have a better chance of, profiting compared to if you would have bought like up here at resistance. So typically, you always want to buy at support. Not always, but if you're trying to get in, the best time to do it is at support, for sure.
So like for this one, if the resistance is the yellow one,
Well, that's actually Fibonacci retracement. That's a different like indicator. No, it's not an indicator, but different thing that you could use. It gives key levels based on specific percentages of a retrace. Some Fibonacci stuff.
basically some shit that I don't understand yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about that. You could just do your manual support and resistance lines, and you'll be all right.
Honestly, dude, some of the best traders in the world only use support and resistance. They don't use moving averages. They don't use this volume profile. They just straight up draw these lines and go from there. I've seen a lot of people do it, but it's not as easy. I like to have a couple other things to, make my judgment, or confirm my judgment, I guess. But yeah, this is probably going to be something nice into the next week if we get a nice market bounce. Next one's Snap. That's just gross, dude. But you see, we are finding some support right here at this line. But it's also acting as resistance here at this prior support. So this could fluctuate down in this area some for a while. It could start to find, I really hope it starts to find a bottom down here and finally, stop playing these fucking games.
What could have caused that like massive gap?
This one right here, they had an earnings report, I believe, where they missed or something like that. I don't remember the news exactly. But
all like the favorited stocks by traders, this is one of the worst ones in
Yeah.
my opinion.
yeah,
I know you love this thing, but
honestly,
Why
I only
is
love
Snap
it.
so low? You would assume it'd be way higher.
I only love it because I got it down here. So
yeah, I got you, dude. Right now, Snap, like you might think it's high because a lot of people use it, but their earnings are horrible.
yeah, it's
Like,
not
in relation
great.
to their price.
They're not even
Wait, if you got
profitable.
it down there, where the fuck did you sell at?
I'm still holding it. So
Dude, if you get back up to like 80 where it was, how many do you have?
I only had like I actually did just sell like I think I sold like 50 shares, but I only had like 120. So it was only like 3 to 5,000 profit. But it's not bad.
How much work went into that? Because even if that was a month's worth of work,
How much
for you to
work?
make profit, still made a good amount of money for that month.
Well, the funny thing about this stock, if you go here, let me go to a higher time frame. If you go back to the beginning, I kept like buying it at like $16 and it would crash down to like 12 or 13. And this was early on, so like early on in my trading career. So when I would buy up here and it would fall down, I would sell out. And I'd be like, shit, man, like this must not be it. And then I'd see it trending back up again. I'd see it hit that point and be like, you know what, I'm just going to buy it again. Then it falls and I sell out again. So I kind of went through this thing a lot while I was still learning. And then I eventually got that 13 price that I wanted. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to let it ride. And, eventually it did pretty well. But this right here is what I was watching. I was watching for this move because a lot of times when you see IPOs at their opening price, their first price, it typically downtrends for a little bit before the trend reverses. And I knew that this was going to be a nice breakout point because it had some momentum coming behind it. I didn't know it was going to fucking double, but you can still kind of use that as a nice breakout point. I'm just hoping it doesn't come back down and fill that, because that would not be nice. So yeah, like I was saying,
Still that for so long.
probably chop around here for a little bit to hopefully find a base before ultimately reversing and starting to trend back up. But I wouldn't even buy it until it's back above these two lines, these two moving averages. All right, let's move to the next. Wells Fargo. This is another one of the bank plays. Obviously breaking out, running right now. But I don't think it'd be worth chasing these bank stocks right now.
You can just wait for the retest. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that like rates will come back down a bit and the market will flip flop. You know, growth stocks will come back into favor for a
Yeah.
bounce.
So-
The opposite will happen again.
So where would these? Obviously, we're going to get 3 rate hikes this year, but where would that? How do we know where that brings the yields to? Like I know I
Well-
heard someone talk. I think I heard you saying 2% is like where they're kind of aiming for right now.
Well, they're gonna hike like 1/4% 3 times this year, supposedly. So you know, go up by that much, basically.
Did you already check City? My bad.
No, that's on the
That's
list though. I can do that now if you want.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at actually. I'm sorry. I hope that don't make y'all mad.
No, bro,
No,
we're good.
I'm in Citibank actually.
Yeah, so okay, that's Wells Fargo. What is City?
It's just
C?
C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually.
See, I missed. Right there at that downtrend is where I was thinking about buying, and I'm so fucking mad I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, do you see that happens? But at least at least you saw that opportunity, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take this, right? But ultimately you didn't. But at the same time, you still saw that as an opportunity, which is good. You know, you're looking and you're finding things.
Okay, so let me know if I'm right. But right now it's about to reach resistance point.
Yes, because you got resistance right here, pretty much. And then you also have these moving averages which act as support and resistance. Since this gold one is pretty significant. This is the 200-day moving average. This is typically major resistance or major support. So right now I'd say yeah, it's hitting some major resistance, but at the same time they do have earnings this week. So you know, they could have great earnings, which I don't think they're anticipated to.
Can you mute your mic real quick?
I don't think you can hear us. Hold on, I can mute it. Yo, Chris. Alright, whatever. I don't know why it's not letting me mute it. So weird sometimes. But okay, where was I? Yeah, so Citigroup is actually negative 10% growth. But I'm
Which
I'm sure.
causes the drop, right? Or is that one of those reverse things?
So yes and no. They may say like, hey, look, we didn't do so hot this quarter. But at the same time, they could go out and say, but at the same time, we think over the next 2 quarters or till the end of the year, we're going to grow at X amount. So a lot of times, earnings is like two-sided. You look at the numbers from the last quarter, but you also kind of want to see where the company thinks they're heading. This is known as guidance. You want to make sure that guidance is good, for sure. But yeah,
Citibank is Cash App, right?
no, Citigroup.
Oh, Citigroup. Okay.
I don't wait. Cash App is I think they're Square. I think they're owned by Square.
I
But
think so, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, basically, it's at resistance right now. I would wait to see what happens with earnings before even touching it. If you're already in long, like Ev is, then you're probably good because you got a good price. But as far as entering now, I wouldn't.
Who was
do
that 14% growth?
Where?
First Republic Bank. Now,
BlackRock
these
and First
estimates.
Republic. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. These estimates, do you know if they get that from the people that are on Earnings Whispers voting or not? Or is that like actually what analysts think?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. This
Okay.
is my first time really using Earnings Whisper. Maybe Chriso knows a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I mean, I look at Earnings Whispers like when the earnings happen, but I don't really look at it before. But I know they ask you to vote and shit like that. So I don't know if this is like a community.
Oh, then never
thing.
mind.
So is that basically? Let's say it wasn't just from the group, like from the voting, but this was genuine, like what's happening. Is the growth saying, okay, this is what they did last quarter. This stock is going to grow this much, or like what is that?
So, well, depending on whether it's a vote or actual analyst estimates, basically they're expecting that from the prior quarter. Actually, I don't even know what metric they use, but typically from the prior quarter to the current quarter, what the difference in growth. So like, they could have had 17 billion in revenue one quarter, and then the next quarter they're down to like 16 billion revenue. Then it would say that difference.
Got you. Okay, so last quarter they made 17 billion, but they're down 10%.
Yeah, their revenue is down 10% or quarter over quarter. Sometimes they do year over year. Yeah. But let's get back to this. All right, the next one is Microsoft.
I'm in this one, and I'm praying to God it bounces.
Oh wow, yeah.
Is this another one of your long terms?
No, this was supposed to. I'm just hoping that it bounces because it filled that gap right there, and it's at a support level, but it's not an in favor stock. Oh yeah, and this pattern right here too. That was the other thing that made me want to grab it. But I don't really think this is a super high probability trade here. But if it works out, it's going to be great.
Yeah, dude. Because you could.
I invested 100 right now, right? And I made it reached back support line, so it goes back up to 340. That's about I'm trying to think, like 15% growth,
give or take. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could.
I would look at a weekly.
Yeah.
My bad.
I would look for a move back to that blue line, 326. Weekly. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, dude, you're actually probably due for a bounce.
That's what I'm thinking.
Dude, that was really down 20 points last week. Didn't someone in the Senate buy a bunch of options, like super out of the money options puts on that? Like
on Microsoft? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure like two or 3 weeks ago. It's so funny, dude. They just know. They know what's going to happen. All right, let's see. Apple is next. Apple, I'm kind of feeling a little bearish, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it brings us to this level, this 167 level. You kind of got it right there. That. I think we get that. And just MACD is telling me that we're getting a pullback here, 167. So I would probably be bearish there this week. Close. Yeah, I was watching this 255 level. Finally broke down. Still looking for 245, so it's got some room to fall. And if 245 can break, probably see this 239, 240 area. So
that's gonna have a good setup on it when it does bounce, though.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. Even if it holds this 245 level, which it probably could, right here. It seems like this was a good level. So, yeah, that might. You got two resistance or support points there, but at the same time, that MACD looks like it's starting to pull. That might just give us just what we need. Goldman.
This is gonna look. Oh, what the fuck? Why did they have so much selling compared to the rest of them?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Seems like they got that kind of run, but that was met with hard selling.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know what happened there.
It did hold that 50 EMA though, so
Yeah.
that'll be probably a level to watch. Make sure. Yeah. All right. Next to the next one. I'm gonna start going fast through these because nobody else is really here. That. Okay, that's not even a ticker. I already went through Ford, but I'll go through again real quick. Yo, but basically, you see how I'm drawing these supports and resistance, dope. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I see it. My bad.
No, you're good. But basically, that's kind of how you want to draw them. You just want to draw them where points where a bunch of times it's been hit, and that kind of gives you a good idea of where these support and resistance levels are
The
at.
resistance basically where the fluctuation tends to be consistent, which is how you figure the triangle.
Well, resistance is just where the buyers slow down and the sellers pick up. So that's when if you see right here, buyers really hit this thing hard, right, as it broke out of this resistance. But now we can start to see there's this resistance up here where the buying pressure kind of slowed down, as you can see here down here on the volume, how it goes from big buying volume to this selling volume right here. So basically, resistance is just where the buyers are basically becoming thinner and thinner, and the sellers are starting to take control of the stock for the time being.
Basically, where it's reaching that point where people are like, okay, I don't want to buy anymore, it's too expensive, and the people who bought when it was low are like, this is the perfect point for me to sell.
Exactly. Yeah.
The other thing you can see on here, you got that ascending triangle, Pat, and the volume profile again, like we talked about earlier. You see how price stayed down there for a while. Volume profile bars are really high, and then all of a sudden, where the volume profile bars are really low, it just
moves quick.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. I don't know how I feel about this MACD though.
It's probably going to hang out here for a little while if it doesn't go fill that gap.
Yeah.
The gap fill is going to be a nice bounce, though, because a lot of eyes are on this now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, on to the next.
Look at gold before you're done.
Which one?
Gold, GLD.
Oh, GLD. I got you right now. See, I've looked at it
so volatile?
a couple times. Yeah, I don't like how this moves.
Or is that consistent? Is this what gold usually looks like?
It's not always what it looks like, but I took calls on this because it's just been stuck here for a while. I don't see a reason for it to fall anymore, and it's got bullish weekly and monthly patterns on it.
Yeah.
And, it usually does bounce somewhere around 165 to 167. So it's done it a couple times recently.
Yeah, if you could catch that move, that MACD looks like it's starting to turn up too, so that's pretty good. I just don't like the up and down.
So that pattern at the bottom, the very bottom, the green and red bars, I see the pattern where it went down, then went up, went down, went up. Can you kind of read that as well and tell what movements?
Exactly. Yeah, these are known as indicators. These can kind of be like a guide to tell us, where we think it would go, basically.
From that, you can assume that it's just gonna rise. That's the pattern.
I can assume that because if you kind of zoom in, you can kind of see that it's starting this middle line right here. If anything above it is considered bullish, anything below it is considered bearish. So, it kind of got back above and it's holding above. So that's kind of a good indication for me to think that it's going to continue to push up on this bullish side after staying fairly flat for a while.
Let's see, what did I have? Yeah, I drew a resistance or a support line in at 167, and that's point of control. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a little bounce here. Nothing.
Why
crazy.
did it break resistance so much?
Well, that point of control, that red line where like the highest volume profile bar is, it's going to like swing back and forth around that very often because there's a ton of volume right there. That's where like it's mostly being traded around is that price.
All right, exactly. All right, I'm gonna fly through the rest
Okay.
because we're kind of getting to an hour here. AMC, nice little double bottom here actually, but this right here, this death cross, not looking good. Not looking good at all.
Yeah, I took a loss on this one.
Dude, I hope this finally pulls. If this breaks down, death cross right here, like, dude, it's almost too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, under 20, I'm taking this down to 14. So, that's that. Lucid.
Well, that looks nice.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is how volatile it is. But this looks good. This MACD is starting to cross over. It's back above this fib level. Let me see if I get what it looks like on the smaller time frames. Yeah, so I'd probably look for 46. You kind of already got that back test, and yeah, I could see 46 coming this week. I love playing the fibs, dude. Just sometimes on Lucid, like, they're not really so exact, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. TCAT, what is this? Oh my god.
What happened there?
I don't know. See, this is why I don't touch penny stocks, because holy shit. Actually, bro, that's crazy. From $2 to 70, that's crazy.
In like 4 days.
Yeah, that's a squeeze and a half right there. Man, I still wouldn't even touch it. This is clear pump and dump right here. That's not for me.
AMC's gonna look like soon.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Alright, W key. Never. Oh, that's gross too. It is, however, it is at, some support down here. So, you got that going for you, but probably going to be choppy for a while. You want to look for it to get over this 50 EMA, push 200 EMA at 630. But yeah, I wouldn't touch this. Tilray earnings tomorrow. Oh God, that's a pump and dump too, right there. But I mean, if someone's looking to go long here, if you think the weed game is going to be popping, then by all means do you. But I wouldn't touch it. It is at support though. INDP. Ew, dude. I'm sorry, but that's just... I can never bring myself around to buying charts that don't have any movement. Just kind of flat for a long
So
time.
this is definitely what you would consider a dead stock. There's just no fucking movement.
Yeah, you see how it's been flat since 2019? It's just... I mean, it does have fluctuations, but... I mean,
Not what you would consider a long term. This is definitely a hedge.
I wouldn't even go as far as saying it's a hedge, because a hedge is something that is gonna, perform well when the rest of your investments are not doing so well. So this doesn't really seem like... I mean, yeah, no, I probably wouldn't hedge with this. It's not really a hedge. Yeah, not really a hedge to do. But it did fluctuate for a while. It was kind of moving all over the place. But you see this. You see how much resistance these moving averages play. It just it kind of tests them and uses them as resistance. Got back above, used it as support, and now that 200 EMA, which is major resistance, every time it touches that, it just sells off hard. So as those continue to point down, I wouldn't buy until those flip. Alright, what's next? Airbnb. Dude, I got a lot this week. Let's This major, I don't know, double top, I guess. I don't like that. Yeah, no, there's nothing really I'm seeing here.
I think MU is a short right now.
MU? Maybe.
Mhm.
Wait, actually, you could probably see a move to 171 here, right? On this 15 minute.
You could.
It's but it's not really clear in that 200. I don't like that. Yeah. So I guess you could look for that. Let's see. Airbnb, CMPI. All right. If this is a penny stock, I'm not doing it. Yeah, no. I don't like this. See, dude, because a lot of times people will send me stocks like this, and I'm like, that just does not look good. You know, I mean, I guess you could see this as support right here and buy for a move back up to 330, but that's what, 70 cents. That's, you know, that's not really anything substantial. UVE. Okay. What is this? This is actually pretty intriguing right here. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back further real quick.
Yeah, I think it did.
See, I'm gonna look for it right above here. Probably above. Anything above 18, it could probably move through pretty quick. So I don't remember who asked about this one, but it'll be on a recording. So anything above 18, 19 could probably move pretty quick up to this 28, 29 area, especially with this golden cross here, with these two moving averages crossing over. That's a pretty bullish move. So yeah, just watch it to clear 19, 20-ish area. Not bad though. Ooh, Roblox. They've been getting hit.
Dude, they did. I
Holy
bought shares
moly.
at like 100. I'm so mad. I had to trade options around it to try to recover some.
Damn. I mean, I guess you could kind of see. Well, this is POC right here. Around this 82 area should probably be pretty strong support. That's what I'm thinking.
What caused it to get that huge hit?
Just because it was so overhyped and overbought up here, I guess. I don't know why it took such a hard hit.
I think Pelosi or somebody bought options on this around 100 as well.
Did she?
Yeah, Pelosi and what was it, Kathy? Yeah, Kathy bought some too.
Dude, Kathy has been taking a fucking beating.
Hey, that's a gap fill right there, though, at support, so that's pretty solid.
Yeah, true. That's true. This might actually not be a bad idea to go long on. Obviously, you're not going to want to catch this knife, but maybe see if we can get some more flattening out before a move back. SEAC. Negative. Pump and dump. BJDX. This is going to be another pump and dump. Yeah. Oh my god. That's just deadly. At least I can draw some type of trend on this. You know, something like that. I'll probably move that down a little more. Yeah, this is bearish though. Probably look for a move back to 220. Or you can get a bounce here. There's some divergence here though, right? Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I'd watch that setup. Anything above this level, probably see a move to 350. Alright. SoFi. Oh no. Breaking support.
Oh, wow.
Damn. I mean, I do have 100 shares of like 14 that I bought over here, but that's a depressing right there.
That's definitely downside.
If anything, though, this tells me you probably could buy it here and get away with it. you know, unless it goes back to retest 12 and 10, and but I don't know.
Yeah, I would like 1250.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know if
12.
that is gonna happen, so we'll see. That's something to keep an eye on. SE. Just back to support. This is knifing though. I wouldn't even touch this. Yeah, major knife, bro.
So would this be like a bad one to assume? Hey, it's at a super low point. I should cop now and wait, or is this on a path to keep going down?
Yeah, so this is see this right here, how it's like straight red down. This is known as a falling knife, right? You never try and catch a falling knife because it's probably gonna cut you. So typically, you let that thing hit the ground, which it could be this area because this was support, however long ago, but
Honestly, this one, you got your gold or your death cross on it for
Yeah,
one
that's
thing, so
bad
it
too.
probably could bounce and then retest that and then start falling again. So
Yep, exactly. All right, on to the next. This is a Zach Morris pumper.
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm not touching this, bro. That's just.
Hey, I think this is a good level. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Do you really?
I think
I'm
it
not
is.
gonna lie to you.
The people I know that got in, this is a level that they bought in at originally, and they're buying more at. So
Huh.
Yeah. I just got in.
I just anything Zach Morris. Just I don't know if I could do it. And I
So
also
you just gotta run the good part out though.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta know it's gonna dump, so you gotta leave before the dump.
Yeah, I just don't like penny stocks. That's just me. I actually hate them. I despise them with a passion. I got burned way too many times that first year of trading. Trying to trade penny stocks was not worth it.
this is a
So
solid.
you would even consider this a penny stock?
No, not this one. The last one. The one we just did. No, this is not a penny stock at all. It's kind of at a good spot, though. I kind of like it here.
This is around resistance, right?
No, this is around support. This is
that's
support.
My
Yep.
bad. Resistance is right there at the top.
Yes,
I completely
exactly. So, I mean, the only thing that I don't like is these two EMAs moving down, and you got the MACD crossing down. But it is at some support where prior resistance, now support. So, interesting spot that one's at.
So it's like it could drop really low, but it could also go up.
It could, yes, exactly. There's always two scenarios. It could either go up or down, right? Or well, three. It could either go up, down, or stay flat. But yeah, the thought here is that it would bounce here and go push back up to 1930 area, and kind of see, because this was prior support. Now we got to see if prior support is resistance, and if it can get back above it, then you got all these resistance points. So I mean, from the way it's looking, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 resistance points compared to 1, 2 support points. It seems like selling pressure is still there. It is at support, but looks like it's close to breaking down and starting to push. If this breaks down, dude, you got room down to $12. So that's that.
Do you still have SunPower?
No. Actually, I got like 10 shares. I ended up selling majority of them, but I do like this spot where it's at. 20 kind of seemed like it's been, that solid support for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I just anything under this, yeah, that's not gonna get pretty.
Yeah, I think I picked some up at 21. I want to say, but I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure if you were still holding that.
Yeah, I still got a couple of shares. It really pissed me off, dude. Cause I had it. I could have sold it up top up here when I wanted to, but I got greedy, right? And I just let it fucking bleed out. Granted, though, I did sell a lot of it. I want to say in this 30 area, 30 to 40 area. So that's not bad. Boeing. Dude, I hate this stock.
Yeah, I've never done well with
I
it.
hate it so much, bro. I never ever do well. And it's at that 50 EMA. Yeah, I don't see this thing moving much. Probably sell off a little bit. I mean, you still got a bunch of cancellations and whatnot, right?
Yeah, as
So
far as I
yeah,
know.
that's just ugly, dude. That's not something you want to trade unless you can really time it perfectly. All right, almost done. We got some support here. Gap fill. Did that gap fill? Not quite. So it's got a gap fill of 268. It's not pretty far off. It could clear that in a day, but it is at some support. So.
And you got some divergence on the histogram too.
Oh yeah, that's true. True. Okay, so that's that. BLNK.
I haven't seen this one in a while.
Oh wow. Yep, Death Cross. That's all I need to say. And you got this continuing further. So let's see. I mean, kind of at some support, broke down support. You'll probably see it retest that support again, but ultimately probably starting to fill this down to 13.
That's a late.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably going down. Neo. I actually wanted to buy some Neo, but I ultimately decided not to.
That looks good though.
Yeah. I just don't like buying anything that's under the 50.
Yeah, I feel you would. Big ass bull flag.
Yeah. So, I mean, 28 is not a bad spot. I would definitely wait for a breakout, though, for this one. Yeah. I look for a breakout above 35, maybe. All right. What's next? Yay. Okay. Remove that shit. Yeah, so this is major resistance up here. Got some support going for you. It's probably going to chop in between these EMAs for a bit. And this is just gross, dude. 1 week it's up, next week it's down. I don't like that.
Yeah, I had puts on this a couple weeks ago, and I ended up selling for a loss because of what you just said, and then it ended up dumping, and I would have made money had I gotten longer expirations.
Oh, no. I mean, it's kind of making a... No, never mind. Yeah, no, not touching it. Next is Futu. Didn't she used to be big on this one?
Yeah, man, I was really so. Look at this weekly chart for one thing, and then the monthly chart also I think looked good back when I was talking about it. But
Yeah.
I really wanted to see this go back to 84. To be honest with you, that didn't happen though.
This is actually a nice spot. I kind of like it here. And that MACD looks like it's so close to crossing back over.
Yeah, and histogram's dying off.
Yeah, dude. This could be an easy play back to 80.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going to have to keep that on the watch because that's pretty nice. Okay. PayPal's still holding that support. That's what I'm talking about. Now we just need to start some buying. Bro, it's been straight selling. So this is still on the watch for a while. Not going to touch it till it starts to really get some buying momentum. Starbucks.
I think this is a short right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, most likely.
What did I see on it?
I mean, you do kind of have some support down here, but...
Go to a 4 hour.
Uh-huh.
So what I was thinking was that little gap right between 111 and 112. that happened like recently.
Oh yeah,
I was thinking open, retest that, fill it, and back down.
I could see that.
You know,
I would agree though. What is the Wyckoff? Let's see. What's this
the white
called?
top spring or whatever.
Yeah, before it starts going back like this or something.
Yeah. Distribution,
Yeah.
accumulation.
Accumulation, distribution coming. That's probably what's gonna happen. But I mean, dude, Starbucks is always a good one to hold. If you look at, since their beginning, what the fuck is going on? My laptop's freezing. Oh, okay, never mind. But yeah, if you look at the beginning, they've always been pretty solid, trending up.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's only going back 2018. Whatever. I don't have time for this.
My trading view does that too.
Netflix. Holy shit.
Yeah, that one took a huge dive.
Yeah.
So 541 though is my 38% fib level.
Okay.
I was thinking it could either maybe bounce here, but 529 would be the next spot, I think.
I'm seeing a Head and Shoulders. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Broke the neckline, pushing down. But dude, this is like, this'll provide some support.
Yeah.
That'll probably be a chop shop for a while. And then I guess the last one I want to check is Amazon. Never mind. That's ugly. But I mean, this support, man, it's always here. Always here. Even when it dips down below, it's always right back up. But this is what's worrying me right here. It's playing that 50 EMA pretty tightly. And that 200 finally broke down. Yeah. Probably get a bounce opportunity coming up. We just really need good market sentiment. I'll check futures. This is holding 50 EMA. That's pretty solid. Probably get a bounce here this week after that overblown selling. NQ at support as well. Probably get a bounce there. Looking for 16K. That'd be nice. Yeah. Well, let's check Russell. Back in the chop shop. It'll probably come down here again, don't you think?
Yeah, this thing's we talked about this one in the chat. This thing's been in a range for so long, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. I still got TNA in my retirement. I'm up like 400% on it.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I guess that's it. I didn't really have any more. This kind of went on longer than I expected. I'm gonna have to cut down the numbers, or get to it quicker, I guess.
Well, I don't think it was you. I mean, we spent a lot of time
We did.
explaining that dude how to trade.
Yeah, we did kind of take a while on that. Let's see what else we got. All right. Yeah, I think we're good, bro. I'll probably be on tomorrow. I kind of got a busy day. I got dentist appointment, then I got to drive back to school. So probably won't be as active tomorrow. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm probably going to do some live streams again when I can get YouTube up and running. So, yeah, I'll be back on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Same
Sounds
thing.
good. Later.
All right, bro. You guys take care.
Sounds good.
Let's see now. How do I stop this stream? Yes. Of course, it went amazing.